Hello, what is up everyone? My name is Jacob and welcome to the long-awaited and very often requested video about the BBE program, the Business Economics English taught program here at the Vienna University of Economics and Business. Today I will tell you everything you need to know about the program itself, about the application and admission procedure, and at the end I will be talking to a friend of mine who is a BBE student and who will share his insight and experience, which will undoubtedly help many of you. Now, to start off, I thought I'd just give you some general facts about the program. Now, the teaching as well as all the exams are held in English, which means that you will need to have sufficient English knowledge, which you will need to prove by submitting a B2 certificate during the admissions procedure. I'll be talking about that a little bit later. The program has 240 available places per academic year and starts in the first week of October. It is 6 semesters long and yields 180 ECTS points, as do all the other bachelor's degrees. Now that we've gotten the gist of the general information about the program, let's see which requirements you will need to fulfill in order to get admitted into the program. First of all, you will need a secondary school leaving exam or a 3-year education at another university. You will need your B2 certificate and you will need to take part in the admissions procedure. Now, the first step of the procedure is online registration and payment of the €50 registration fee. That can be done online from the 1st of March all the way up to the 15th of May. Now, on May 17th, you will receive an official email telling you if the admissions procedure will actually take place. If there aren't enough people who apply, there is still a chance that you might be accepted after just that first step, but it is highly unlikely because the interest is huge and a lot of people are applying. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. Now, if the admission procedure does in fact take place, then you have around 2 weeks or specifically until the May 31st to do these 3 things. Now, the first thing you'll need to do is the online self-assessment. The online self-assessment is solely intended to help you make the right decision when choosing your degree, and for that reason it will not be graded. Second thing, you will need to upload your English certificate. The level is B2 and the accepted certificates are IELTS, TOEFL and Cambridge certificates. So yeah. Another option is to upload proof that English is in fact your first language. So if you're from the UK or America or whatever, that is an option for you. Now, the third thing is you will need to answer 3 specific questions about your motivation via the online registration tool. By June 18th, you will be informed by email if you've taken all the correct steps and if you are invited to the entrance exam, which takes place on July 9th in Vienna. It is not possible to take the exam on another date or to do it online. Now, 3 things will be checked with the entrance exam: your basic elementary business and economics knowledge, your math skills, and your English. In case you want to see a more detailed breakdown, I will of course leave a link down below where you can check the full list on the VU website. Now, shortly after writing the exam, a couple of days later, you will already know the results of the exam. You'll know if you got in, and after that you can worry about, bringing your other documents which are required for you to get admitted, but the hard part is done and congratulations, you made it to VU. That would basically be all the information you need about the admissions procedure. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments down below or on Instagram, but I will also leave a contact to the student services which answer all of your questions regarding admissions and later your studies. They respond really quickly and they will for sure give you a more informed and correct answer than I can. So that is also down below in the description. Now, just one last word before we jump to the interview. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please make sure to slap the like button and subscribe to the channel for future videos like this. Got a lot of awesome stuff planned and yeah, I'm sure you'll like it. On to the interview. Hey everyone, I'm back with my good friend Benjamin Schmel, who is a BBE student and who will be sharing his experience and insight into the BBE program with us today. Thank you for your time, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Firstly, I want to ask you, why BBE? What dragged you to this particular degree choice, and why did you want to study in English in the first place?
If you would have asked me like 2 years ago, I would have probably told you I want to become a teacher in English and geography. That was the plan around 2017 for me. But then I discovered I don't want to study English as the topic of my study, as the content of my study, but more like a medium, as the language of my study. So I started to inform myself about what Austrian universities have to offer when it comes to English taught bachelor programs. And I soon discovered that there are a few degrees at private universities, like the Webs University or maybe the Krems University in Ruhr, Austria. But there was only one real particular degree choice offered in a public university, which is BBE at the University of Vienna. So I familiarized myself with do I want to study economics and maybe this international approach to business. And for me, the main reason to start with was the English language and the international approach. But then, especially during the first semester courses, I discovered that this economics part is quite something that interests me as well. So this was my approach to BBE. And when I first went to VU and saw the campus and went to the open days back in March 2018, I was convinced that this is the right choice for me.
This is the right choice, yeah. I hear that a lot from people who just walked into that campus on the open days and were just, I'm going to study here, no questions asked. Okay, so the first semester is now over. You have gathered some experiences and you have, some experience to share with us and with people who are wondering how their first days are going to be like and what they can expect of this program.
I had high expectations when it comes to BBE because I thought if they only take like very few people, it must be very small classes. There must be an interactive setting. All these things that you usually don't see at universities. I thought this package was maybe too good to believe. So I had quite high expectations. And to tell the truth, I'm quite satisfied with the program as it has gone, and all the expectations I had were not fully, but mainly satisfied during the first semester. We have these small classes. We have a very interactive community of students. It's only 140 of us. So tight friendships have formed, and the classes themselves are very interactive as well. There are different types of examinations. So all that stuff is quite good when it comes to my expectations being fulfilled. And if you have these expectations, I can honestly say that the BBE program might be good for you.
Yeah. Who is the BBE program for? I mean, when we look at this broad international kind of field that you mentioned, who could benefit the most from this program? Who is the program built for?
When we started in October 2018, we had 23 different nationalities coming together for one degree. And I think that alone is special for a bachelor program. You usually don't have that in Austria. Usually if you do German taught degrees, you mainly have Austrians and Germans and maybe a couple of international students. But here in BBE, we really have 23 nationalities. Some people coming from Guatemala, some people coming from Northern Europe, some people coming from Switzerland. It's all around the globe. And this international aspect of the BBE program is quite unique for Austrian universities, and that's what you can expect. And sorry, what was your question again?
Yeah, it was who is it?
Who's it for?
Yeah, who's it for? Yeah.
So if you're into this international approach to doing business and meeting people and having international relations around the globe, this is unique, and this is maybe the only shot you have. And I was into this as I mentioned. I come from this geography English type of route, and I bundled my expectations, and I went into this degree with a lot of expectations, but was quite satisfied, especially because all these people coming together and studying together, and friendships have formed. Actually, in winter we went on a skiing trip together with 13 other BBE students. So this, I think, tells you how tight this community is, and friendships have really formed. So.
Yeah, and that also, so as you said, contributes to the uniqueness of this program and makes it a rare thing, which also with it, of course, brings huge interest of future students and makes this one of the most the hardest programs to get into on the University of Vienna. Which brings me to my next question. I get really a lot of questions from people asking me about the entrance exam, of course about the whole procedure, but I explained that in the first part of the video. I want to know about the entrance exam, what that experience was like for you, how long did you study, how hard did you study, and if there are any particular tips you could give to future VU students who are just now preparing for that exam.
Back when I studied for my entrance exam in the summer of 2018, there was even less information available. So I'm quite happy to give you some insights into how it went for me. Back in July of 2018, the entrance exam was made up of maths, microeconomics, and English. So we had this 3-part structure. It was all multiple choice questions. And we had this material provided by VU, and because I didn't have any information about how much detail will be asked, I studied quite a lot. So I would say I studied for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, end to end, maybe like 3 or 4 hours a day. I know this sounds like ridiculously much, but I didn't have any clue of how much they want to have, how much information they will ask. So I studied quite a lot, but I can confidently say that this was maybe not entirely necessary, especially if you have a background from a HAK, which is an Austrian business school. I think a lot of the terms and a lot of the statistical, mathematical expressions used in microeconomics, they are familiar to you. So if you know these, if you have the background of maybe an economics interested person, or also someone who did that in their previous education, you might be better off. But me myself, coming from an AHS, which is a general secondary school here in Austria, I had to get familiar with all the terms first in order to dive into the topic. Especially the mathematical terms in English, they proved to be quite a hurdle for me.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. As a Croatian student who now studies at a German degree choice, it was, again, it rings a bell, all the things that you're talking about. But again, once you familiarize yourself with all of those expressions, there's only a limited amount of vocabulary you have to learn, for instance, in math. So after a while, the ball gets rolling, and
it's also a foundation that you will use in your later studies. Studying for this entrance exam actually, I think, prepares you well for some of the first semester courses, which will build on these expectations that were set for the entrance exam. So studying, I would recommend studying, obviously. Studying might also have other benefits other than just getting through the entrance exam.
Yeah, I understand. Anything else
and
you wanted to add?
If there is a special tip, or maybe like the
special tip, people are gonna love this.
Tip for the entrance exam might be, as I said, get familiar with the terms in English, because all correspondences and every bit of the BBE program will be held in English, so there is no exceptions when it comes to circumventing this English. Well, can I talk to the professor in German? Maybe it's all English, right? So that must also be of high point of interest for someone who plans to do the BBE program. If English is a barrier for you, or if English is just that doesn't really feel right for you, you might want to reconsider, because everything we do here at VU, every text we get, every examples, every exams, it will all be in English. Right? So getting familiar with the terms, and especially the mathematical expressions, that's super important.
Will be of huge benefit later.
People don't know that derivative is Ableitung.
So
you have to know that first before you can actually go to the entrance exam.
Yeah, makes sense. An event which is quite specific to the BBE program are the so-called welcome days. Could you tell us what that is about, and if you would in fact recommend people to go to that manifestation?
The welcome days are usually at the beginning of the winter semester, when the BBE program starts. In my case, it was end of September. I think for the next cohort, it will be beginning of October. It's mainly to get to know the other BBE students, right? So it was 140 of us. We didn't really have friends back then, so getting to know the people was actually quite a big step. And being thrown in together for a bunch of days in the while we did some community workshops at the Welcome Days, while we got to know the WU campus, not just from outside but also from inside the library, and getting to know the learning facilities, that is of a big advantage, and I would definitely recommend to go and attend the Welcome Days.
Yeah, and to create friendships that, as you said, then
obviously
later.
I actually met my current flatmate during the Welcome Days, so
attend the Welcome Days, people.
Attend the Welcome Days.
We've come to the end of our little talk, and I have to ask, is there one other piece of advice that you would give to people who are just now thinking about going and studying the BBE program at the WU, but also people who get accepted?
Mm-hmm. BBE is a very broad degree, so I would my advice is, if you're maybe frightened of the microeconomics or the economy, or is this really the thing I want to do, don't be scared of that. I think because BBE is such a broad degree, we have focuses on microeconomics, on socioeconomics, on macroeconomics. So we have all these different classes and courses, also contemporary challenges of business and economics. So we are talking about poverty, we are talking about inequality and climate change. So you shouldn't be scared of these maybe small
areas.
Yeah, don't be frightened of the title business and economics. It's much broader than that. BBE offers a whole new perspective to how the world functions, and I think my advice is, if you're keen to know more about how the economy and how society works, especially if you want to broaden yourself, broaden your horizon internationally, the BBE program might be a good fit.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
That would be it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like for future videos. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.